Hey guys, Josiah here with Aesthetyx Fitness. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about how to stay fit while drinking alcohol. Alright, so this is a topic that I've kind of touched on in the past, but that I really wanted to actually devote an entire episode to because it's kind of a complicated subject and has a lot of ins and outs, and you are going to hear a lot of different things from a lot of different people out in the real world. But I wanted to kind of try to distill it, no pun intended, down into more of a bite-sized topic and really be able to cover it quickly, efficiently, and understandably for you guys in today's episode. But before we get started with that, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and click that little bell icon. That way every time I come out with a new video, you guys are getting notified and not missing out on any great new content. Also really helps me out if you're willing to click that little like button down below as well. Now with that out of the way, let's get started. Alright, so when it comes to drinking alcohol and the effects that it has on your calorie intake for the day, you can kind of break it down into 4 different categories: beer, wine, mixed drinks, and hard alcohol. And each of these is going to affect you somewhat differently, because the thing is, the majority of the calories that your body is going to actually be putting away and storing from alcohol come from the carbohydrate content of the alcoholic drink you're consuming, and not the actual alcohol itself. Alcohol does have 7 calories per gram, which is rather high as far as macronutrients are concerned. For comparison, fat has 9 calories per gram, carbohydrates and protein both have 4. So alcohol has almost twice the calories per gram that a carbohydrate or gram of protein would have. However, despite its high caloric content, alcohol is actually a toxin that your body doesn't use and store like it would with fats, carbohydrates, or protein, so your body treats it a little differently, and we'll get into that later. But the main point that I want to make to start out with is that different alcoholic drinks will have different amount of carbohydrate-based calories. For instance, mixed drinks, you could be looking at 200 to 400 calories per drink if you're looking at like a big frozen margarita. Beers, you're usually looking at like 150 to 250 calories depending on the beer and the sort of thickness of the beer. And wines, depending on the wine, especially with like a dry red wine, you're going to look at a much lower calorie content overall because there is a lot less sugar in them. And finally, when you get down to hard alcohol, things like whiskey, rum, tequila, gin, you're actually looking at like less than 1 gram of carbohydrates per serving, simply because there are almost no sugar or carbohydrates in the drink as a whole. So in that regard, it's very important to make sure that you're tracking your alcohol appropriately. If you're drinking mixed drinks, make sure you make room in your carbohydrates of your macros for those additional carbohydrates you're consuming. And if you want to be able to consume alcohol without consuming all those extra carbohydrates, stick to, clear alcohols, brown alcohols, basically hard liquor, and just sip that instead of knocking back cocktails. Now, a lot of people will tell you that drinking any alcohol will crash your metabolism and slow it down. It makes sense since alcohol is a depressant and you feel more sluggish and slow afterwards, but it doesn't actually directly slow down your metabolism. You see, like I said, your body does still have to process the alcohol you consume even though it can't store it. Doing this does actually burn calories, and in fact it burns more calories than processing nutrients that your body can actually absorb. So basically, by drinking alcohol, if that was the only thing you were to do, you actually are speeding up your metabolism. However, since your body can't store alcohol, it will always use it first as a fuel source and gives it the top priority. So even though you are burning slightly more calories by processing alcohol, your body's using that instead of carbohydrates, fats, and protein in order to burn and make fuel. So what's going to happen? If your body's spending time doing that and is slowing down on everything else, in essence, you are going to be more likely to store any fats or carbohydrates as fat that you're consuming around the time you're consuming alcohol. So basically, while alcohol doesn't directly slow down your metabolism, it does make it more likely that other calories consumed will be stored as fat. Another thing to be concerned with when drinking alcohol is that studies, such as one by Hong Brown et al., have shown that alcohol actually slows and reduces protein synthesis and absorption. So this means that if you're drinking alcohol, your body's ability to build skeletal muscle is actually decreased during the time that alcohol is in your body. So what does this mean overall? Basically, if you're a person that's having 3 or 4 beers every single night, it's going to be really hard for you to build muscle and stay lean and maintain a good quality physique. However, if you're a person who just likes to drink socially, maybe have a glass of wine now and then, or a glass of whiskey, something like that, and you're not drinking that right around the time that you're consuming big meals or with food, you should be all right in the long run. It's not really going to make that big of a difference, especially, like I said, if you do budget the overall calories into your daily macro allowance. Because like I said, even though your calories are not coming directly from the alcohol themselves, you have to be aware of the fact that it is increasing the time it takes your body to digest other calories. So still leave a little bit of extra space in your daily calorie allotment so that your body has room to process that alcohol and everything else you've eaten throughout the day. But with that being said, guys, that's it for today's video. Hopefully it was helpful for you and condensed things down into a more bite-sized, easy to understand format. If you liked the video, leave a like down below, and of course subscribe to this channel because I have new content coming out all the time that I don't want you guys to miss. And leave a comment down below letting me know any questions or comments you may have so that I can help you guys train smarter and look better.